Hello, everybody. My name is Lucas Joppa. I'm the Chief Environmental Officer at Microsoft, and I'm so pleased to be with you all today to talk a little bit about sustainability, the way that Microsoft thinks about sustainability, and the role that we believe everybody has to play in ensuring that we work together to build a more sustainable future for everybody on this planet. To start at the beginning, I just wanted to frame the way that Microsoft thinks about sustainability and the global perspective that we take. The perspective that if Microsoft is going to do well, we need the world to do well. And we believe that that pertains to every individual and every organization operating on the planet. And if we are going to do well as a business and as a society, that means that we are going to have to get out ahead of a lot of our environmental challenges and start to build a more environmentally sustainable future. And over the past year, Microsoft's been going through a process to ensure that the commitments that we make and the future that we work to build is in line with that environmentally sustainable view, that vision that we believe the world needs to have. And so over the past year, we're really working hard to build out a set of commitments that will see us operating as a fundamentally different company by 2030, and to see us put in place the investments and the innovations today that will get Microsoft and the rest of the world there over the coming decade. And those commitments are quite simple to say. Microsoft has committed by 2030 to operating as a carbon negative, water positive, zero waste company that's building the infrastructure of a planetary computing platform to enable individuals and organizations to fundamentally change the way that we monitor, model, and then ultimately manage Earth's natural systems. So if we take just one of those commitments, carbon negative, I just want to take a few seconds here to describe what we mean by that. What we mean is that over the coming decade, we will reduce our emissions by half or more, and then we will physically remove from the atmosphere all of the emissions remaining in our portfolio. And we will do that across our full scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3 emissions. So the emissions we are directly associated with through, for instance, our on-campus fleet, through the emissions associated with the energy that we consume as a company, including our data centers, that's called scope 2, and all of the emissions associated with our supply and our value chains, that's scope 3. We will be carbon negative across all of those emissions. And then from 2030 to 2050, we will add on to that commitment an ambition to remove all of the emissions since Microsoft has been founded in 1975. And to do that, we know that we need to do a few things. We know that we need to invest in the future, invest in new technologies, invest in new solutions. And that's one of the reasons that we put in place a new $1 billion climate innovation fund to invest in carbon reduction and removal technologies, amongst other climate stabilization strategies. But we also know that we need to help serve as a catalyst to the broader corporate ecosystem to ensure that organizations all around the world are empowered to invest, to build new solutions, and then to deploy them either as products or as services that they and others can use to accelerate their path down towards a more sustainable future. And that's why I'm so excited to announce today an update on the Sustainability Alliance in Italy that follows on from our recent announcement to build a data center region in the country. And what's so important about this Sustainability Alliance is it offers an opportunity for the 8 organizations from retail, energy, education, and finance, amongst others, to come together and start co-ideating, to identify what problems are in the region and the way that computing and technology more broadly can offer a opportunity to deliver new, and particularly new, scalable solutions to our sustainability challenges. And I think that this announcement is coming at such a critical time, both for Italy, for Microsoft, and for the world, because it's clear, of course, that we are all doing business, we are all living our lives in the middle of a really unprecedented time, a time of a pandemic that's having really catastrophic effects on our ability to grow our economy and to grow our overall human experience. But it's also clear that we need to keep focusing on some of the fundamental issues of our time. One of the ways that we like to talk about it is that COVID is the issue of the year and sustainability is the issue of the decade. We need to be able to focus on both of these issues at the same time so that we can ensure that we solve the challenges of today while putting in place the solutions for the challenges of tomorrow. And one key aspect of that is ensuring that the private sector, that companies are taking on the important commitments that they need to take on in order to play their part. But it's also incredibly important that governments around the world invest in the new regulatory schemes, the new innovation, the new investments that will be needed to help us recover from the COVID crisis in a way that helps us build a cleaner, more sustainable future. And I do strongly believe that if we all work together, the private sector and the public sector, to co-innovate, to take a technology first approach to thinking about the ways that we can invest and then build solutions, that we have a really bright future ahead of us, even if it's difficult to see that today. And so I just wanted to say again, thank you for allowing me to join you today. Thank you for letting me share this message. But much more importantly, thank you for joining with Microsoft in this extremely important work.